Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about the WWE Raw January 19th, 2026 review. This show was, whatever. Had some good matches here and there, but overall, there's some story that developed mostly about Braun Breaker's suspension that I liked. But overall, this show wasn't that great. It was okay, pretty much. I mean, we kickstarted the show with Gunther. Gunther pretty much is rambling on about the same old shit. AJ Styles interrupted his speech. AJ Styles came out and says, I was a fool. I made the mistake. I shouldn't have showed no mercy. I should have just kept pulling your leg until it finally broke off or something, or until you tapped out in front of the referee. That was my mistake. The next time we wrestle, it ain't going to be that way again. And I want a rematch at the Royal Rumble. And Gunther looks at him and pretty much says, I have no interest. I gain nothing from facing you. I've already beaten you. What more can I gain from wrestling you if I've already beaten you once before? And he goes ahead and AJ Styles. I feel like I'm watching Back to the Future with McFly. I mean, Michael J. Fox being told, "What are you, chicken?" And Michael J. Fox getting all fucking pissed off about it and going, "I ain't no chicken." That kind of thing. That's kind of what AJ Styles did with Gunther. He says, "What are you, a coward?" And he goes, "No, I just don't see any value in facing you again in a rematch." And he goes, "But there is one thing I could say that would make me tempted to want to go along with this rematch. If you put your career on the line at the Royal Rumble, then I'm willing to do double duty." He also mentions that he's going to be a part of the Royal Rumble within this promo. And AJ Styles says, "You're on." That's pretty much it. Or he says, "I'll go ahead and think about it," or some shit. And he pretty much goes ahead and accepts it later on after he talks to his wife. His wife said, "Go kick his ass." And he tells Adam Pearce that. So the match was made official by the end of the show. Nothing really spectacular there. Next, we have Maxine Dupree backstage warming up when Natalya approaches her. All of a sudden, Natalya's on the show. This was a fucking joke. Natalya says she's here to make sure what happened 2 weeks ago with Becky Lynch doesn't happen again. Dupree says she's so ready for tonight and we'll see her out there. Natalya smiles as Dupree walks away. We get the opener of the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. This match was whatever, and then the ending was Natalya turning on Maxine Dupree, so now we have a teacher versus student type of situation, and a random storyline that contains no title, which, if you were going to go that route, one, I would have made sure she was there all that time while she was champion. And then eventually turn on her like maybe in a tag team matchup or something. But build this up, and this match could have been at WrestleMania or something. Or at Elimination Chamber if you wanted to go that route. And then have Maxine Dupree defend the title against Becky Lynch, or in a triple threat match with AJ Lee or something. Or just have AJ Lee and Becky Lynch go at it over no title. That was an option too. I don't think they need the title, but the title kind of gives it a little bit of elevation, and also with those two names competing over it, gives the title more prestige. So I get why they moved the championship back over to Becky Lynch, but what was the point of her gaining the championship in the first place, meaning Maxine Dupree? Made no sense, and Natalya just turns on her right in the middle of the match, helps Becky Lynch get her foot on the rope, and Becky Lynch retains the championship, and that's how the match ends. And she gets attacked by Natalya as well. I mean, I don't know, man. I have no idea. But it is what it is. After the match is over, we get a video of last Monday. Braun Breaker got involved in the main event after Adam Pearce warned him not to. Breaker grabbed Pearce and threatened to kill him. Pearce suspended him indefinitely. Paul Heyman says Pearce put his hands on him first. So backstage, we got the GM, Adam Pearce, talking with AJ Styles. Just because Gunther made the challenge doesn't mean he has to take it. Styles says he's going to call his wife. Paul Heyman walks up to Pearce and asks about his week. Pearce said he had a great week, which confuses Heyman. Pearce says Braun Breaker suspended, so it's a great week. And they're in Belfast. Heyman asks why they're not in London. Pearce tells Heyman to tell his guys to be on their best behavior because he'll be at ringside. Heyman's not happy about this, and the tables actually turn later on in the show with that same kind of commentary by Paul Heyman to Adam Pearce. So tonight's main event, you will see the world champion CM Punk defended against Finn Balor. Finn Balor is backstage with Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez. Raquel Rodriguez walks in and says Stephanie Vaquer is still not cleared, but once she is, she'll lose the title to Big Sexy. I guess she's Kevin Nash in a female version of it. Liv Morgan says 2026 is the year of the Judgment Day. Morgan says Rodriguez and Balor will be world champions. As for Perez, she at first thought she was a liar, but now she loves her, and Balor says they're in Ireland and he's not leaving without the title. Well, unfortunately, you're not believable because you weren't booked to be believable. You're an outstanding performer. You do great shit in the ring. The match he had with CM Punk in the main event was excellent. The no complaints here, but when it comes down to the wins and losses that Finn Balor has taken over the last couple of years and where he's been at in his career, doesn't scream championship challenger. He ain't a world champion challenger. He's just a guy filling in for a role so that they have someone to say they can challenge CM Punk for the world title. That is how bad this roster has gotten. If you cared so much about Finn Balor and preserving him as a possible world champion challenger, you should have maybe granted him wins in the last couple of years instead of making him be Pin Balor, which is what people on the YouTube platform call him, is Pin Balor. I mean, like, come on, man. He's a fucking meme at this point. The only one that protects him from taking an L in a match is JD McDonough when they tag team together. I mean, this shit is just fucking ridiculous. You can't book Finn Balor to challenge for a world title when he's got these many losses under his belt. He's got more losses than he has wins. It's terrible. It's terrible booking. It makes Finn Balor look fucking ridiculous. He doesn't look like a believable challenger. Nobody expects him to beat CM Punk. Had they even surprised the audience with the win, it would have made no sense. It would have made absolutely no sense to put the title on Finn Balor to begin with. So at the end of the day, the whole situation was a complete and utter waste of time. The work rate was fantastic by both of these guys, but logically, based on the wins and losses, I guess you could say storyline based off of what Finn Balor has done on television in his matches, do not scream world champion challenger. I'm sorry, guys. I have all the faith in the world Finn Balor being a main eventer. But that's WWE's fault. Apparently, they don't see him as a main eventer just because he got a shoulder injury. That happened in 2016 at SummerSlam. Are you really that fucking stupid? I don't understand how this company has kept him down in the mid-carder to nothing in his career for this fucking long. Just because of a shoulder injury. This man is in better shape now than he was almost 10 years ago. This shit makes no fucking sense. It's just straight up, it's absolute bullshit, in my personal opinion. But, hey, it is what it is. 10 plus years since he won the WWE Universal Championship from Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Stripped of the title, and then forgotten about since he came back from that injury 10 years ago. That's pathetic. And then they want to give him a title shot because they're in Ireland. What the fuck kind of logical sense is that? And simply because they wanted to give Punk another challenger for the world title before they go off to Saudi Arabia. Because I don't believe CM Punk's ever going to a Saudi Arabia show again. I think that one thing was just a nudge in the sense that they wanted the CM Punk John Cena match for a world title opportunity. And since they were in Saudi Arabia, it kind of lifts the story a bit more by forcing CM Punk to have to be a hypocrite in order to get a shot against John Cena. So that's probably the only time you're ever going to see CM Punk in Saudi Arabia. Now, maybe next year he might be at Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania because it is WrestleMania. But, I mean, they could do something. They could write him off, give him a vacation. He has his main event at WrestleMania, technically. I still don't say he got his main event because it wasn't Night 2's main event. But who the hell cares, I guess, right? Right. Anyway, we move on. World Tag Team Champion Jey Uso is in the arena. Jimmy is not there, actually. And Uso makes his yeet entrance. Oh, God, if you don't get your yeets in, the world's gonna fall apart. And the crowd is fired up. Uso has a microphone and says he is now in their city. Last week, he put the whole tag team division on notice by himself. Now he's here in Belfast to let everyone know he's declaring a spot in this year's Royal Rumble. Uso will be back-to-back Royal Rumble winner. Fuck no. Uso says this is a warning shot. Yeet. And that's it. Big whoop-de-doo. They've had this guy come out to announce that they're the head of the tag team division. There's no tag team division anyway. So they ain't got nothing to worry about anyone taking their fucking titles. And now this week, he announces that he's trying to go after another world title opportunity by winning the Royal Rumble match again. Okay, whatever. Fucking retarded shit. Anyway, moving on. Backstage segment. General Manager Adam Pearce is walking backstage when he's confronted by the New Day and Grayson Waller. They want a title shot match against the Usos. These people just ask for title matches and act like, oh, they're supposed to be granted because there's no tag team division. Fuck off! That's what you do. You don't have a tag team. They might as well just burn the fucking tag team titles. Along with the women. Well, actually, the women's tag team titles seem to be more present and have more of a fucking division than the men's do. But problem is, they didn't give a shit about the women's division for tag team wrestling the entire time until AEW brought their AEW women's tag team titles into the mix. Now all of a sudden they give a shit. But don't worry, guys. AEW is no competition to WWE. Don't believe the bullshit. Anyway. Pearce gives them an opportunity in a fatal four-way next week. The winners will be number one contenders for the tag team titles. And the New Day is furious. Whatever, who cares? Alright, next. We have a six-man tag team match. I don't know if I'm bugging or losing my mind, but is it me or is a Vision not getting any entrance time? Seems like they do their entrances during the breaks. At least from my vantage point, but then again, half my attention is taken away looking at my phone than watching what's on the fucking television set because the show absolutely sucks. So let me know from you guys if that actually is a thing, or am I just not paying attention? Anyway, 6-man tag team match. Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul team up against Dragon Lee, Penta, and Rey Mysterio. This match wasn't bad, but, I mean, there was a lot of tomfoolery going on the outside of the ring. There was a lot of focal point mostly on Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman during the one spot with the Brass Knucks. Austin Theory was trying to connect with Brass Knucks in the middle of the match, and Adam Pearce comes out of nowhere, grabs the Knucks out of his hand, and then Paul Heyman kind of gets up in his face and said, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "Hey, he's trying to cheat, so I'm trying to even out the odds here, so back the fuck up," type of attitude. And the Brass Knucks were left on the side of the ring, on the apron of the ring where you could grab them. And Rey Mysterio just grabs him, and they're walking off up the ramp, so Adam Pearce doesn't see nothing, Paul Heyman doesn't see nothing, and they're just fighting going up the ramp, and he just clocks fucking Austin Theory in the face with the Brass Knucks, and they get the pinfall, and they get the 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And that's how the match ended. So Austin Theory eats the fucking pinfall. Penta technically hits the super kick with the Mexican Destroyer on Theory, and they get the win, and they walk away with the W. So Austin Theory returns to be the guy that takes the pinfalls for the Vision. That's all he is. He's not going to be built up to be anything. He's not going to be built up to be anything of importance on this show. Vince McMahon's out of the picture, and no longer is Austin Theory seen as a main event player. I don't get this fucking logic. The guy has the it factor. He has wrestling capability. He has the ability to cut a promo if you let him just be him. I like Austin Theory. I think Vince McMahon had something with Austin Theory. I think Austin Theory could have been or could be the next John Cena, but the way creative has failed him miserably. I mean, maybe a villain version of John Cena, because he's got the look of John Cena with the physique, the hair, the whole 9 yards. The beard makes him look good. He was looking great in 2022 through 2023. And then once Vince was out of the picture completely, he just was a distant memory. I have no idea. I liked Austin Theory. I still do. I think he's getting the royal end of the stick. I think LA Knight's getting the royal end of the stick. I am sick of the political bullshit that goes on in this company. You have it, and you're getting it from the crowd, then you respond with the crowd's reactions. Now, granted, Austin Theory's presentation coming back has not been all that great. So, I gotta be honest with myself. The crowd's not gonna react to any of this shit, because the way they presented him was terrible. The presentation of Austin Theory's return has been absolutely terrible. It has not been that impressive, and that's all there is to it. So, that's all I gotta say about that. So Paul Heyman is shown making a phone call as Dragon Lee, Penta, and Rey Mysterio celebrate. Backstage, Jackie Redmond is backstage with the World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk. He will leave as a fighting champion and not just a fighter. Punk says he's playing an away game against Finn Balor. This is the type of pressure he loves as a fighting champion. And he also mentions he's also the best in the world. I don't know about that statement anymore. He's kind of lost a step or two as he's gotten older. And that's not to discredit him in any way, shape, or form. It happens to everybody. So, I mean, you can't hate the guy completely just because he's gotten older. Just because he's gotten older doesn't mean he doesn't, you know, he's shit. Just means he's gotten older and he's lost a step or two. That's all. Doesn't make him a terrible wrestler. Anyway, but then again, some people would think I'm just glazing CM Punk, but if that's what you think, I don't care. Because you could say the same thing about a Roman Reigns, you could say the same thing about Cody Rhodes, you can say the same thing about every fucking one of them in this business. They will all eventually start slipping. And that's just the way it is. Anyway, frustrated GM Adam Pearce is walking backstage when Paul Heyman screams for him. By the way, there was a glitch in the production team here during this segment. As he's screaming for Adam Pearce, the microphone that generally is supposed to be hanging above them so that people can hear them talk backstage is never presented in the picture while they're filming this. And there was a slip up and the microphone came crashing down in the middle of the screen. I thought that shit was fucking funny. I was like, and he screamed real loud and the microphone got really close to his mouth. And it was really loud. It could have, if you had your TV up loud enough, you would have deafened yourself. It was that bad. Total fuck up by WWE on that one with the production team doing that spot. But anyway, Heyman says Pearce was a great man, great GM, and will be missed when he's gone. Pearce asks if he's threatening him. Heyman says he wouldn't do that, but Pearce should take the phone call. Pearce's phone rings, and he doesn't look happy as he answers. So later on in the show, he comes up to Paul Heyman and he says, next week, we're going to have a one-on-one chat, me and Braun Breaker, no one else, out in the middle of the ring, and discuss this out and clear the air and get this worked out. So Paul Heyman says, oh, is it because of the phone call? And he goes, no, it wasn't because of the phone call. I just want to get this worked out and get an understanding here. And that was pretty much all that was mentioned during that next segment later on in the show. Next, we had the women's tag team champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, coming out. Addressing their tag team title matches coming up this Saturday night's main event. By the way, guys, I am not going to be watching Saturday night's main event live. I may either watch it later on after the UFC 324 event takes place, or I may review it on Monday night before Raw goes on the air and then give you a Raw review the next day on Tuesday like I'm doing today. And just do that. That's probably the direction I'm going to go. Because I'm also watching the NFL Conference Championship games on Sunday, so I may not be able to do all of this. And honestly, I don't care to. It's not my primary concern to go ahead and give you guys a review on Saturday night's main event, which is pretty fucking retarded to even have this happening a week before the Royal Rumble, when Saturday night's main event really should be considered a standalone PLE that's on the Peacock to give us some kind of like championship matchup or major headline main event match on Saturday night shows whenever there's a pay-per-view that's not taking place, or if there's a long strand of weeks in between one pay-per-view to the other. That's the only time I see there's any reason to even have it as Saturday night's main event. Anyway, so Rhea Ripley and Io Sky head to the ring. They'll face Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez with the titles on the line this weekend on Saturday night's main event. Ripley welcomes Belfast to Monday Night Rio in Rio. In a few nights, they'll defend their tag team titles against Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez as Saturday night's main event. When are Morgan and Perez going to learn that when it comes to them and the Judgment Day, Rio is always on top? Ripley says they have a little announcement to make. Once they beat Liv and Roxanne at Saturday night's main event, and retain the tag team titles. They will be participating in the Royal Rumble match. Sky starts to speak, but Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez cut her off. They walk out to the stage. Morgan says she and her little Roxy are taking the titles back to the clubhouse on Saturday. Perez asks how they're both entering the Royal Rumble. Morgan has a friendly piece of advice for Sky. Morgan and Perez get in the ring. Morgan says Ripley always turns her back on her partner at the end of the day. And Ripley did it to Morgan. Where it will work out for Sky is that Ripley's selfishness will be her downfall and she'll end up alone. Perez then announces that she, Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez will be in the Royal Rumble. A member of the Judgment Day will main event WrestleMania. Ripley does a mock laugh. How will it work for Judgment Day if they're all in the Royal Rumble? All of a sudden, Rodriguez big boots Ripley from behind. Morgan hits Sky with a code breaker, and followed by a Rodriguez hitting her with a Tajana bomb. A furious Ripley gets up and grabs Rodriguez, but Morgan Perez beat her down, and Ripley fights back, but Morgan quickly crushes her with a huge oblivion, and the Judgment Day stands tall in the middle of the ring. Next, backstage segment. Bayley is talking to herself backstage, so she's back to being a twisted nut job. Out of nowhere, Lyra Valkyria comes up and says she's having a hard time staying positive. They're not building momentum as a tag team. Valkyria hates losing and feeling like she let her friend down. Bayley says Valkyria hasn't let her down. They have all of 2026 to look forward to. The Royal Rumble is coming up, and one will win. They're both excited at the prospect of one of them. Following that, we had El Grande Americano. So Javon Evans gets through Bravo and Rayo Americano. And now he gets to face the main attraction of the Americano, El Grande Americano. Oh my. This shit sucks. Javon Evans plays off a shoulder injury. He doesn't really have a shoulder injury. It was an act. He had a concussion during some live event, I believe, or something like that. So he was taken off the shelf for precautionary reasons for the concussion. And they're just taking it easy on Javon Evans so they don't possibly get him in a worse condition than he already is. So that's pretty much what happened. The match wasn't even a. It was a winner. El Grande Americano won by a stoppage. Nothing really exciting happened during this match. And that's pretty much what we got out of this. So, that's it. Big deal. They played it off as a shoulder injury, but it was really a concussion. Thankfully, it wasn't nothing major, but it doesn't matter. WWE's already made it clear that he's not a main event player. I don't know what the fuck they're smoking. Get rid of the whole bouncy thing and him constantly having to do flips and dives all over the place. And actually tell a story in the ring and develop a character, and he's pretty much got it nailed. Because his wrestling capabilities is outstanding. You save that shit for major matches, for like pay-per-view events and stuff. You got something to work with, and you protect him during the week-to-week shows. I mean, that's all you do, and have him tone down his wrestling style a little bit to tell a story in the ring, and then go all crazy in the pay-per-view shows. It's just my viewpoint on it, but hey, what do I know? Anyway, Jackie Redmond's backstage with Finn Balor. Balor says the magnitude of the night isn't lost on him, but it may be lost on CM Punk. These are Balor's people on his island. Tonight there will be a new Irish World Champion, and the crowd loudly cheers. What other shit? So anyway, Furious Vision is walking backstage when Raw GM Adam Pearce stops them. Pearce tells Paul Heyman to bring Braun Breaker the show next week. Heyman mentions the phone call he got, but Pearce says it has nothing to do with the call. He wants to talk to him, adult to adult, man to man. Heyman says he'll do that, but Pearce better be on his best behavior. And Logan Paul was taking pictures of Pearce in the background. What a fucking joke. Later on, after that segment, AJ Styles walked up to Pearce, said he's going to take the match with Gunther at the Royal Rumble and put his career on the line, and his wife told him to go kick his ass. So he needed his wife to tell him that. What a fucking joke. Anyway, Kairi Sane and Asuka were backstage with a locker room segment. Asuka was screaming and yelling at Kairi Sane, and Kairi Sane getting extremely emotional and fucking retarded acting going on here. I felt like I was watching a absolutely terrible movie playing in front of me before my very eyes. And this was absolutely shit. Kairi Sane goes ahead and acting like she's an abused child, basically. Says, well, I won't let you down. We'll go in the Royal Rumble, and I'll make sure you win the Royal Rumble match. And then Asuka was pleased by the comment and that she was going to do that. And she said, that's a good girl, as if she was her mother. And is a narcissistic, crazy lunatic parent who treats her kid like a piece of shit, and Kairi Sane's her child. I don't know. This shit's fucking warped. I don't know what Asuka's taking shit, or Kairi Sane's taking shit from Asuka, who can't win her way out of a fucking paper bag, but here we are. I don't know, man. The fucking shit's just garbage. It's gots to go, man. It really does. I don't know, man. I'm just not enchanted by this fucking show anymore. And even if they're trying, I don't give a fuck. The show just sucks. Anyway, main event time. We had Finn Balor come out to his old theme music. I was actually happy and stoked about this. But then again, this also means that Finn Balor more than likely is being removed from the Judgment Day later on this year. Probably by the time we reach WrestleMania. And we'll probably have some grudge match, or the IC Championship will be on the line between him and Dominic Mysterio, because I think Dom's going to be the new leader, and he's going to kick Finn Balor out along with JD McDonough, for all I know. I don't know. But yeah, Finn Balor, CM Punk match, again, good match, but predictable result. No one, I honestly think I can't believe these people were stoked about Finn Balor getting a world championship opportunity, knowing full well he was never going to win. How their reactions were acting like they were genuinely surprised that Finn Balor couldn't beat CM Punk. He had him pinned in the middle of the ring after Fendue Wah, whatever the fucking way the move is pronounced, where he does the flying stomp on the guy's chest from the top rope. And he pins him and doesn't get the 3, and that surprises everyone. Just like, what? How are you surprised by this? You actually think Finn Balor is going to go into his hometown and win against CM Punk, who's been on a winning streak, while Finn Balor's been eating pins for his damn tag team? For his fucking faction? What are you, fucking nuts? Get out of here. That's the problem with this shit. That was why I say I don't care how great the match was. It makes no fucking sense. He's getting a world title match just because they're in his hometown. It's fucking mind-numbingly stupid. And these people ought to be ashamed of themselves because apparently they lost a few brain cells as they were watching the show probably. And forgot, oh wait, Finn Balor's been losing nonstop on WWE television. I really shouldn't have any hopes for him to win. Like, what the fuck is this shit? I don't know, man. But Finn Balor wins. They celebrate in the middle of the ring, the both of them, show respect, and that's how the show goes off the air. No cliffhanger, no nothing about the Judgment Day, being angry at Finn Balor for celebrating or showing respect to fucking, CM Punk. You think the fucking Judgment Day would be like the Death Riders, with Jon Moxley showing respect to the AEW locker room, and Finn Balor doing the same thing with CM Punk. Like, what the hell are we watching here? They could have had a cliffhanger with him being attacked or having a little fracas between the two, between Finn Balor and the rest of the Judgment Day with the women, and them being upset with him showing respect to CM Punk when clearly they should have any respect for anybody outside of their own group. Like, what the fuck am I watching here? Absolute fucking waste of time. Show was good with the wrestling, but the stories outside of Braun Breaker, I don't fucking care. Like I said before, if Braun Breaker doesn't win this Royal Rumble, the writing is on the fucking wall, folks. Braun Breaker's the fucking shoe-in to win the fucking damn Royal Rumble. There is no one else that needs to win this Rumble. Roman Reigns doesn't need to win the Rumble. Cody Rhodes don't need to win the fucking Rumble. Sure as hell not him. Maybe Sami Zayn if he doesn't win the Fatal 4-Way match. And that is it. Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker are the only two people I will accept as the Royal Rumble winner for the men. The women, it can be whoever the fuck you want. That's not going to bother me one way or the other. Because the women's division, I think, is a lot better than the men's. The only problem is there's nobody on the women's SmackDown roster that's challenging for the WWE Championship for the women's division. So I don't understand that shit. Jade Cargill's been champion for a while now, and she hasn't even defended her title not one time. Shit makes no fucking sense. Straight up. But, yeah, that's just my viewpoint on WWE Raw for January 19th, 2026 review. I think the show was mid, maybe. But storyline, nothing made sense outside of a few things. And that main event, awesome, but makes no logical sense for it to even happen. Just the way I see it, man. But anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.